So this is Mechatronics Hydraulics Lab 2, Phase 1. We have the pump running to the 4-step manifold, which splits off to the pressure gauge, and one side to a pressure relief valve. When we fire this up, this is all the way open, allowing the pressure to run back to the system. And then when we turn it, the pressure increases as the fluid slowly becomes stopped, building up pressure, so we can regulate how much pressure is exactly going through the system by stopping the flow going back into the system. Alright, this is Mechatronics Hydraulics Lab 2, Phase 2. Right now we have the system set at 200 psi. We've added a directional control valve and a cylinder. As we allow the cylinder to extend by putting pressure in valve or hose A, the pressure drops down to about 50 psi, then returns to 200 at fully extended. Retracting puts it out about 70 psi, and when it's fully retracted, it goes to 200 again. As we raise the psi to 300 and extend, putting pressure in hose A, it goes back down to 50, retracting, goes back to 70, and then idles at 300 when fully retracted. Alright, this is Mechatronics Hydraulics Lab 2, Phase 3. We've connected a 3-point manifold, allowing both sides to get pressure equally. And I turn this on, set the pressure to 300 psi. I predicted that the valve would do nothing, and it does nothing because both sides are equally pressured. Alright, this is Mechatronics Hydraulics Lab 2, Phase 4. Right now we have the pressure going into the back of the cylinder, and then the front of the cylinder hooked up to a gauge. So as we regulate the pressure and raise the psi to 200, we can see that the front of the cylinder also gets 200 psi, and then we increase it to 300. Psi remains in line with the back of the cylinder. Alright, this is part 2 of Phase 4. We turn up the pressure to 200. And we've flipped the hoses so that now the high pressure is going to the front of the piston, and then the low pressure is going to the back of the piston. And because this piston was in the retracted position, there's not a lot of room for this to influence how much pressure is going in over here. So this one's reading 200, this one's reading 25-ish. But if this piston was extended while we did the test, we would have had the same results as when the hoses were flipped.